Hello guys. It's time for people who want to start application development. It's amazing. In my idea, application development, it's amazing. And you will earn a lot if you learn application development. So let's go through the steps and phases that we have. Like others, in the first step, we should pick our language or the framework that we want to start and work with. We should decide we want to learn native iOS, native Android, or cross-platform. What's the difference? Native iOS, it's something, for example, that developed by Apple, and if you use Swift, you just will able to write iOS applications, same as Objective-C. For Android, for native Android, if you choose Java or Kotlin, you just be able to write Android application with these two. But in cross-platforms, like React Native, like Flutter, you can write codes one time and make both Android and iOS applications from that. It's amazing. But why still we have Swift? What's the reason? If we can write, for example, React Native and make Android and iOS applications, why we are still using Swift or Java or Kotlin? It's because of the performance. If you are using native iOS and native Android, in my idea, the performance of the application will be really better than when you are using cross-platform languages and frameworks. It's very important. So you should choose, depend on the job position, depend on many things. My idea here is native languages. I really like Swift. Swift is really amazing language. I really like that. But if you want, you can go through React Native, Flutter, Java, Kotlin. It depends on you. What are you interested in? You want to develop application for Android, for iOS, or no, for both of them at the same time. It's completely depend on you, and you can choose depend on what your need, or maybe the job that you are looking for need cross-platform. So go through that and learn that. So let's go to phase 2. I talked a lot about phase 1. Phase 2 is to know about the fundamentals in application development. At first, you should know about the IDE. For example, if you want to write a Swift, you should install Xcode on your machine. And you will need Mac. Just it's available just for Mac, not for Windows and not for Linux. You should have a Mac to install Xcode and write Swift code or Objective-C. For Android, you should install Android Studio. It's available on Mac, on Windows, and on Linux. But what will happen in the cross-platform? Usually you will need to install both Android and Android Studio and Xcode. It means if you are using Flutter and you want to get output for iOS applications, you should have Xcode. So you should have Mac machine. Okay, so you should install the requirements and IDs on your machine. After that, just create a basic Hello World application. Running the website, for example, it will happen just with simple commands. But run the codes on the mobile is something different. So it will be really great to install requirements, and after that create a simple basic application, Hello World application, can say, and run it on your emulator or simulator. What are that? There are some something that Xcode and Android Studio provide for us to see our code's output without any real device. Start using them, run the application, simple application on that, and after that start run that application on real device, for example on real iPhone, on real Android device or anything else. And after this step, you should learn about the basics in the programming language or framework that you choose in phase 1. For example, if you want to start with React Native, at first you should go through the JavaScript language and learn that. If a statement, for loops, many things in that language you should learn, and it's better to learn React.js after that to develop a website. And after these steps, you can start learning React Native. So if you already know about React.js, my suggestion is to start learning about React Native. Okay, so after you learn about the language, we have some other things here. You should learn more about the, we can say, fundamentals of the language. One of the things that we have here is to how we can design our application, how we can design user interface for our application. If we are using Swift, we have two options, Storyboard and Swift UI. Just depend on the language that you choose. Learn how you can design your application and create a simple UI application. Just for example, put a button, put a text, put an image, or anything in your application and make it as beautiful as possible. Okay. After that, try to make it functional. You develop UI, you wrote UI, make it functional. For example, when you click on button, you should change the text, color of the text, change the image, go to another page. Make play with these UI and functional programming in the language that you choose. After that, you should learn about the life cycle that we have in the applications. You should learn about the connection with server, how you can connect to a server, how you can get the data from that. You should learn about the async await. It's a very important thing. You should learn about the storage, login process, how we can log in, and how we can make good experience for user in that. For example, if a user logged in before, we should redirect user to our home page, not on login page. You should learn about the patterns, MVC, MVP. You should learn about navigation, go through one page to another. You should able to manage your data through your application, state management. You should know about that. You should know about the components, animations. And after all these steps, you should be able to develop a simple to-do application. I just have a sample for you here. See this UI. Develop this with this beautiful bottom tab that we have. Here we have a bottom tab. Develop this and make your tasks and put them in your home page. User should be able to edit the task, delete the task, and also search in them. If you connect them to a backend, it will be really great. But if you are not able to connect to any backend, you can't write backend code or anything else. Just you can make it internal. When user tap on this plus button, you should open up a modal here and let user to write the name of the task and other data depend on that task. I don't want to work on these 3 pages, just this plus and this home page. You can show them as empty. Here also, we can have a calendar, but not in the first step. Just at the first, try to develop this part. And after that, you can add calendar. And when user want to add any task here, you should get the date from the user, and then you can put depend on the date and filter your task depend on the date. It will be really helpful for you to learn application development. So after this and develop the to-do application, let's go to phase 4. We have also something very interesting here. You should improve your skills. You should learn about the Firebase. You should learn about cloud messaging. You should learn about Socket.io, WebSocket, push notification, social logins like login with Google, with Apple, with Facebook. You should learn about unit test, Google Map, Apple Map. These are very, very important thing that you should learn about. And after that, you are able to develop a chat application and improve your skills here. How? We have a UI here again. We have 2 simple screens. The first one that you can see in the picture is that you will see the list of the people that, for example, sending message to you. You can have also a login page before that. I'm just talking about the chat part. And as soon as user click on each of them, you should redirect user to another page that showing the list of the messages. Okay, you should connect this to Socket.io or WebSocket to make it real time. It means as soon as the user send a message for you, you will able to see that message here. You should also make push notification for that. When user sending message for us, you should show push notification here. It's really, really amazing application that you can develop after phase 4. After that, let's go to phase 5. As other roadmaps, we should learn about the version control to put our code somewhere, maintain them, push our codes. Maybe if we are working with a team and other people can push their code, then we can pull codes and see the codes, run the codes on our machine. The tools that we can use is GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket. If you don't know which of them you should learn, you can start with GitHub here. And after this phase, you should go to something very, very, very important. It's performance of the application. That's we don't have that on the, for example, website as much as the application. You should track memory usage, CPU usage, and profile them. and you should make them better to prevent make phones hot. It's very important. And in our last phase, we developed an application. Right now we know about the fundamentals, about the language, about many things. In this step, we should know how we can deploy our application. We have two purposes here. One, for test purpose. That's for Android. You can get APK and send to QA and person who want to test. And for iOS, you can use test flight to test an application. Okay, after this step, deploy for test purpose, you should learn how you should deploy your application on stores, to stores. For example, how you can deploy your Android application into Play Store. How you can deploy your application into App Store, iOS and Android, I mean. And after these two steps, you should learn about the CI/CD. It's an amazing tool that we can have here. It means as soon as we push our codes in some of the version controls that we have here, it will be triggered and will deploy to the store automatically if you are using CI/CD. So it's really interesting here. It's not necessary. I can't say it's necessary to know, but it's fun. It's fun to know about the CI/CD in the mobile development. So that's it. We had 7 hard phases here to be a application developer. Please go through all the steps and all phases one by one, from phase 1 to phase 7 to be a good and senior developer in the mobile side.